Hello, once again, you're welcome to the key points. The Imo State governor yesterday made public of its findings in the payroll system regarding pensions fraud, which involve 8 persons said to be receiving 330 million annually as a pension. The Governor Hope Uzodinma, disclosed this in Owerri after meeting with the leadership of the state chapters of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, led by Josiah Ugochukwu, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Austin Chilakpu, and Trade Union Congress at the Government House in Owerri. The governor said it is also discovered that over 1,000 pensioners who retired in 1976 were still receiving a pension, just as he pointed out that pensioners in the verified database have all been paid up to date except those who are still having issues. According to Uzodinma, the highlight of the fraud was that 8 persons who the governor named were earning 330 million naira annually as a pension, one of them late, while a retired judge was earning 300,000 monthly, above what was due to him as pension, and a late SSG to the government was still earning pension many years after his death. So many irregularities had marred the pension system, forcing us to investigate further into the payroll of retired workers, where it was discovered that over 1,000 pensioners who retired in 1976 were still receiving a pension, wondering how many people aged 104 were still alive.
I want to, on behalf of the government, thank the executive and members of Nigerian Labour Congress and the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Imo State branch, for finding time to come for this interaction. There's no how we can succeed as a government if we don't have this type of engagement. But I know in my heart that what we are looking for is also what we are looking for. But our inability to understand ourselves in terms of approach and management, I consider is the problem. Now, government is government, and you are part of government because you spent almost 70% of the most important aspect of your life working for government. Therefore, that became your investment. Government must, at least, if nothing else will be done for you, pay your little entitlement that is considered your pension allowance. It is not negotiable. But you see, government also has a responsibility to explain to taxpayers, the owners of the money, that if government say we paid this amount of money to pensioners, government must be able to beat their chest and say, yes, the money was paid to pensioners. When I came here by January, I didn't have any problem. I looked at the pension payroll, I approved. Pensioners were paid. By February, they brought the same thing. Pensioners were paid. But going through records, I discovered a lot of fraud and irregularities. That if I continued, I would be an irresponsible government. And I swore to oath to do anything that will not compromise the interest of the state. I'm on oath. So I decided to pause. I went back to records. The my first findings that startled me was by the data capture the Ihedon administration did. Those who retired on the basis of age in 1976 were still receiving pension. Between 1976 and today is 40 years, 40-something years, 44 years. So if you retired on the basis of age at 60, if you add it to 44 years, it means 104 years. And these people, this category of people were over 1,000. And I asked myself, how many people in Imo State are up to 104 years that are still receiving this amount of money as pension? He gave me a further word. I probed further. I saw that those who retired by 1984 and the 86 were receiving pensions of over 100,000. And the Pension Act says you must receive your basic salary as your pension, your net. By 1984-85, how many people were receiving 100,000 as salary? I didn't get any answer to it. I looked at all over the world. The pension structure is a pyramid, where those who are the lower are more, and the highest officers are narrowed as a pyramid. In Imo State, the pension structure, those who receive 100,000 and above are more. So the opposite is the case. Now I look at the salary structure, I look at the promotion structure, I saw that it is not consistent with what is on ground. And we were losing a lot of money. And by the time we were talking, I have records showing that the government is already indebted to over 50 billion to pensioners. And because I'm determined to follow the new world order to migrate into contributing pension, and before I do that, I must offload the liability of the previous pension scheme. So I needed to know, are we really owing 50-something billion or not? Today, records have shown that government is not owing 50-something billion as pension area because of the fraud I have discovered. So I cannot, in all honesty, the only thing I ask is their understanding, to understand me. Because as I speak to you, some people claim salaries are paid. Salaries are not person. I have never paid half salary. The truth of the matter is that if you get to the service, some people are in level 1. Because they have stayed over 20 years in service, they were not able to be promoted. They go and collude with the accounts officers. They increase their salaries to 100 and something thousand without promotion. When you ask them, they say because they have served 20 something years. That is not the system. That is not how civil service runs. So you find out that you are talking of consolidated salary, conhests, all these special allowances. The Pension Act is not about allowances. When you retire, all allowances are not going with your pension. Your last salary payment, basic net, is what is paid as pension. Now, even at that, I have evidence to show you that 75% of local government workers are health workers. And yet no hospital is working in any local government. No agric farm is working. No pottery is working. And then some other officers there receive 45,000 naira salary, and some receive 400 and something thousand as health workers, and they can't produce one chicken for the local government. That is not correct. So we decided to automate. Automation started because it is what the World Bank has directed every government must do in Nigeria. To automate the government in a manner that not only that it will remove fraud, it will make the day-to-day running of government easy. When we came, the Ihedon administration had already captured biometrics of most of the people, but the data was not processed. When we got the data, remember I met with you here on your first visit. I even asked you, can you give me your roster, your register, names of your members for us to know who are the members? Why I was asking for that was for you to qualify to be a pensioner, we must have your employment history. The date of your employment, if you don't have the employment letter. We must at least have your date of birth. We must at least have your date of retirement. And if possible, have your last salary pay slip so that we will know what you are entitled to. Head of service is here, is one of you. Ask him whether any of these records was with him. What he told me, and I quote before him, is that everything pertaining to pension has been removed from his office. And they don't know what these people have been doing. And I couldn't continue in blindness. So that is why we have to delay, because we have to harvest data. I have to get to head Accountant General's office to bring a special software to break into the abandoned database that was left by the last consultant in Hedo and Hire to get some raw materials that we started processing. Nobody handed over to me. You people are all witnesses that came here. I didn't see anybody to hand over to me. But that would not be a reason for me not to run a government. So as much as it was very inconveniencing to me, to some of you, of course, I have no doubt in my mind that you will also be inconvenienced. Part of the inconveniences you have suffered, because I didn't meet anybody on ground to guide me, is the delay in paying your pension. Now, the good news is that we've been able to, through a very tortuous route, gotten some of the information that we need, which you didn't provide. No government handed over to me, nor this bureaucracy to the head of service. All over the world, there is no how you go to the office of head of service, and every information about pension is not available. It is only in Imo State I now saw that the head of service has no knowledge of how pension issues are being managed. So we got it. I now discovered a cabal that we are making the place dry in the name of pension, using you people's names. I have lists. I have their list too. I'll publish the list on Tuesday, and I'll prosecute them because they have been defrauding the government. We have finished everything. We have created a website. If you check here, from few records I came up with here, I have 8 names here who are earning 330 million a month, a year. 8 of them only. Level 15, level 15, level 16, level 14. And this money has been going into their accounts. And they've been collecting the money and eating. And it's not enough. I have in Imo Polytechnics alone up to 20 people earning pension and earning salary. I have more. There is no local government. They don't have people earning 3-4 pensions. Now the difference is that